In case you missed it this week, Kirby Smart had a lot to say about his wide receivers. And if you're a Georgia fan, I think you should listen up because that is a position group that there are a lot of eyeballs on, right? After a really ugly 2024 season for that group, Georgia added two of the best wide receivers through the transfer portal that I think are going to make an immediate impact. There's a couple freshmen, actually more than a couple freshmen, who are already starting to turn heads. There's other guys who are ready to step up, and I think it will probably be the most improved position group on the team from last year. At least it should be if Georgia wants to do much of anything this upcoming season. They need this room to step up and make a lot of plays. I think they're going to do it, but Kirby Smart still wants more from this group this spring. Here's what he had to say this week talking about his wide receivers. He said, quote, "They're day to day, there's days I want to see more toughness. I want to see more run through tackles. Don't lay on the ground. Don't hold your hands up if the ball's not in the right spot, just body language that drives me nuts." But that's not on all of them, and they're getting better. Day by day, they're getting better, and there's good depth in that group. We're a little banged up. Landon Roldan is dealing with a little bit of a hamstring. You all know Tyler Williams, the incoming freshman, is out with an ankle injury. Colby Young has been dealing with some as well. Cole Spear has been dealing with it. So that's what it is basically what he's saying. You're on practice 7 of spring practice. You've got to show toughness and grit. And I like that group right now. I really do. I like that. I think that group's got a chance to be good. But the one quote that stood out to me the most is body language. Bad body language drives me nuts. Right? So, they need receivers who aren't getting upset when the balls not going their way, when they drop a pass, right? We saw some bad body language from some of the guys last year. They drop a pass, they got hands on the helmet. You could see them rolling their eyes a little bit through the helmet, right? Oh my gosh, I just dropped another one. You saw some offensive linemen, some guys on the offense, when they see a big drop down the field, you can see them kind of say, "Oh man, not again," right? And again, bad body language drives Kirby Smart nuts. And it's not the first time he said that, but he said it again talking about the wide receivers. So he wants to see consistency, he wants to see positivity, but like he said, he wants to see guys make plays after the catch and run through tackles and get up immediately when they are tackled and get back to the huddle. And that's something that drives the rest of the offense. And at a position like wide receiver where, there's always an ego. There's always, I say always, just in some cases, you got that diva, right? That wide receiver who thinks he can't be covered, can't be guarded, and wants the football every single time. Like a George Pickens type, right? Every wide receiver has a little bit of an ego. And when he beats his man or he runs a crisp route and gets open, the ball's not coming their way, you can't have the bad body language, right? And that's what Kirby Smart's looking for. He still wants good teammates on the outside, even when you're not getting the ball. Guys who are willing blockers, right? Especially in the screen game. I say a lot of these guys, Zachariah Branch, Dylan Bell, Cole Spears, one who could, Kobe White, those guys are excellent in the screen and short passing game. And when your number's called and you have to block and you're not getting the ball, you still have to give 100% effort, right? So that's what he's looking for these guys. And I do think at the end of the day, deep down, he really likes this group, right? They went through the portal to get Noah Thomas for a reason. He is a big, physical, jump ball weapon on the outside, which they need. Colby Young is one of those bigger receivers too, but now they've got Noah Thomas who can help him there. And they don't play the exact position, but you got Zachariah Branch too, who brings that natural speed, explosiveness, right? He is extremely dangerous after the catch, and that's what they're looking for out of him. They didn't go get him to block, right? They didn't go get Noah Thomas just to block either. They got them because they have a special skill set that should be able to allow them to make plays early. And again, we've talked about this a while now, or at least I have on this channel. Gunnar Stockton doesn't have to be Superman. He just has to distribute the ball accurately and on time to all of these weapons that he has. Dylan Bell is still a weapon, and he's a guy who's going to help out at running back too. But no Nitro Tuggle, probably a good thing, right? He is suspended indefinitely. If you were on my team, he wouldn't be on the team at all. There would be no coming back. But they still have London Humphreys who can make some plays. And again, Dylan Bell, Cole Spear, and the young guys, Talon Taylor, CJ Wiley, Landon Roldan, Thomas Blackshear is a guy who I think is going to surprise a lot of people at some point. These guys can play, and even in practice, when they're not getting reps with the ones, it's about body language. It's about when your turn is come, when your name is called, and you're getting a rep. He wants you to give it 100%, and if you're not going to see the field. And that goes for every position, but especially at wide receiver, where it is becoming a position group where there is depth. They brought two guys in who, again, I think are going to start immediately. Colby Young is a starter. Dylan Bell has started. And again, these freshmen aren't going to sit on the bench for very long. But body language, bad body language across, no matter what the position is, that drives Kirby Smart crazy because he wants to bring passion and energy to practice. No one down in the dumps, no one feeling bad for themselves, whether they're not getting the reps or if they make a mistake. It's not about that. It's keeping your chin high, being a good teammate to everyone around you, which turns into leaders. And they need leaders. They need veterans. They need experience. And while Zachariah Branch and Noah Thomas have played before, it's hard to be an immediate leader on a new team. So they can do that, improve their leadership, and through practice, through A+ reps, giving it 100% every single time, and showing good body language. And that's he said that for a reason out loud, because Kirby doesn't necessarily lie to the media. Sometimes he's probably more honest than he probably wants to be, but in this scenario, he had no problem saying what drives him nuts. But at the end of the day, the wide receivers should make more of an impact. And if you're Gunnar Stockton, there's guys that you can stretch the field with and throw the ball deep, whether it's because they're big and they can kind of use their size as their advantage over opposing defenders, or if they've got just pure speed. And London Humphreys has that, but Zachariah Branch is a guy that, again, said a while now, I expect a lot of big things from him because he's got a special skill set. He is, you can't teach elite speed. You can teach guys to be faster a little bit. You can work on speed, but in most cases, you either have it or you don't. And Zachariah Branch has that. And again, if these guys can make plays after the catch and break tackles down the field after the catch and keep going, and they're looking for more explosiveness, and that's not something they had last year because the group in general was just too inconsistent. Even when they were getting open down the field, we saw way too many drops, 20+ yards and further. And so that's what they're looking for from this group. And they've got plenty of speed coming in, and they've got speed, from guys who are starting, right? So we'll see where it goes. We'll see how the freshmen, I think a lot of the body language that Kirby Smart's talking about is probably talking about them kind of being out of shape, hands on their hips, hands on their knees, deep breathing, not being able to give 100% every rep because they're not in shape as much and they are a little tired. And again, that's expected. These guys should be in high school still in their final year, and they're practicing at a program that, demands excellence on the practice field and demands a specific type of fire and energy each and every rep. So it's hard to practice to that standard when you just got there. So at the end of the day, body language is huge. Bad body language is going to drive Kirby Smart nuts. And he had no problem telling this. So at the end of the day, Georgia needs this group to step up and be a lot better than they were last year. Not just a little better. They need to be a lot better. And Gunnar Stockton needs that too. He can't do everything. He needs a running game, which is still, we don't know what the running game is going to be like. They've got new starters on the offensive line, multiple new starters. The tight ends are all basically coming back, and he's got more weapons on the outside. So if you're Gunnar Stockton, you want to develop that chemistry with these new wide receivers and these freshman wide receivers as soon as possible, right? He's got a little chemistry with the guys that have been there, especially Dylan Bell and Colby Young. But again, Colby Young was just there. This is only his second year with the team, right? And Dylan Bell's been around now for a little bit, but Gunnar hasn't been the starter for a full season, right? So he's still developing a chemistry with those guys, but that's what this spring is all about. Getting on the same page in the passing game, because the schedule isn't as hard as it was last year, but it's still difficult. And they're still going to play a lot of really good teams. They're going to be in a lot of close games, and they're going to need those receivers to step up and make a big contested catch or two or three down the stretch in a lot of these ball games. So I think the coaches have a lot to work with, and I think Gunnar Stockton has a lot to work with. He's got more weapons than I'd say they did last year, but it's up to the wide receivers to catch the ball and make plays after the catch and show good body language. That's what's going to get them on the field. That's what's going to help the team morale, especially on offense. So that's what drives Kirby Smart crazy, and that's a little update on the wide receivers. So thanks for watching. Really hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next video.